Hello, my name is Leslie Van Dalen, and I'll be your guide through the remainder of this TAC training program. Let's continue our training by discussing MST's RIDES Paratransit Program. During this section, we will review the ADA, Americans with Disability Act, what is paratransit, and lastly, MST's RIDES Paratransit Program. ADA. ADA is an abbreviation for Americans with Disabilities Act. The ADA is a civil right. What is a civil right? Civil rights are an essential component of democracy. They are guarantees of equal social opportunities and protection under the law, regardless of race, religion, or other characteristics. The Americans with Disability Act, the ADA, was signed into law on July 26, 1990 by President George H.W. Bush. The ADA is one of America's most comprehensive pieces of civil rights legislation that prohibits discrimination and guarantees that people with disabilities have the same opportunities as everyone else to participate in the mainstream of American life, to enjoy employment opportunities, to purchase goods and services, and to participate in state and local government programs and services. Modeled after the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, the ADA is an equal opportunity law for people with disabilities. To be protected by the ADA, one must have a disability, which is defined by the ADA as a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities, a person who has a history or record of such an impairment, or a person who is perceived by others as having such an impairment. The ADA does not specifically name all of the impairments that are covered. So what does this mean for transportation? The ADA guarantees people with disabilities equal access to public transportation. This means public transportation providers cannot refuse to provide you with transportation because you have a disability. So, if an individual is unable to access public transportation, like ride the bus some or all the time, they may be eligible for paratransit service, some or all the time. Basically, paratransit service bridges the gap and provides service complementary to fixed route service. What is paratransit? Paratransit is a transportation service for individuals with disabilities who are unable to use public transportation services. Paratransit service is a shared ride service. It is also eligibility based. That means a person with a disability must qualify to participate in this service. Individuals, customers who qualify, are either 1, unable to navigate the public bus system, 2, unable to get to a point from which they could access the public bus system, or 3, have a temporary need for these services because of an injury or some type of limited duration cause of disability. Paratransit services complement fixed route services. That means paratransit service is public transportation. And because paratransit service is public transportation, it also means no trip can be denied. As a taxi cab driver, what does that mean to you? If you are assigned and dispatched a paratransit service trip, you are legally obligated to perform that trip. All trips are pre-scheduled, pre-negotiated, and must be performed as stated on manifest. That means there are no unscheduled stops, not even if your customer insists. It also means return trips must be made in advance and scheduled accordingly too. As a driver for MST's Taxi Voucher Program, you will also be a driver for MST's RIDES Program too. What does this mean? In this subsection, I will explain what is MST's RIDES Paratransit Program, how this program will benefit you as a participating driver, how the program works, what your responsibilities are as a participating driver, and what it looks like in real time. Because paratransit services complements fixed route services, it is public transportation for participants in the program, and that means every public transportation company in the United States has a paratransit program. Here in the Monterey County, our paratransit program is called MST's RIDES, ADA Paratransit Program. MST RIDES Program for short. MST's RIDES program is eligibility based on an individual's functional ability to use MST's fixed route buses. In order to participate in this program, you must complete and submit a 2-page application. The first page is completed by the applicant with their contact information. The second page is completed by a California licensed healthcare professional. Someone with a license number and letters after their name may complete this section of the application. Once a member of my department receives their completed application, the applicant will receive a call from us to schedule an interview appointment that can be completed by telephone or Zoom. This scheduled interview takes about an hour. During that time, questions will be asked of the applicant to determine their functional ability to access and navigate MST's fixed route buses. If it is determined that the applicant is unable to travel on MST's fixed routes either all the time or some of the time, then they will be accepted into MST's RIDES program. You are probably curious as to how this program will benefit you. Great question. Let's take a moment to review this graph. MST's fiscal year is from July 1st through June 30th. Looking at last year's numbers of taxi trips that were performed by your colleagues, taxi cab drivers, for the MST RIDES program, you will notice the numbers are high. Great, in fact. As with anything, there are rules as to how this program works. There is no same-day trips. All trips must be scheduled in advance, any time between 1 and 7 days. As a driver, you will be pleased to learn there is a 30-minute window of time for picking up and dropping off your customer. 30 minutes. That means you have 15 minutes before and after the scheduled pickup or drop-off time. What does this mean? Let's say you are scheduled to pick up Mr. Bryant at 12 o'clock noon. Because of the 30-minute window of time, you must pick up Mr. Bryant anytime from 1:45 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. because that is Mr. Bryant's pickup window of time, 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after. If you arrive before the window of time, you must wait or be sure you return in time of your customer's window of time. If you're going to arrive past the window of time, you must communicate this information as soon as possible to your dispatcher so the information can be communicated to your customer or other arrangements can be made. Once you've arrived in your window of time, you must connect with your customer either by knocking on their door, texting, or calling them. Just let them know that you have arrived to pick them up. Once you have connected with your customer, then you must wait. You must give your customer at least 5 minutes to boogie into your vehicle. All of MST's RIDES program trips are curb-to-curb service. However, some customers require door-to-door, last door to first door assistance too. What is door-to-door service? It is also referred to as last door to first door too. That means MST and drivers performing trips on behalf of MST's RIDES program are obligated to perform assistance to any RIDES customer who requests assistance getting from their door to your vehicle and then from your vehicle to the door of their destination. As a driver in this program, you will have some additional responsibilities. We ask you to please consider your customer's safety and well-being, both physically and emotionally, for the whole trip, from the time you pick them up until you drop them off or hand them off to someone else. Just think of your customer as though they are someone in your life who you love and adore that is elderly and frail. Okay, what if you have been informed that your customer requires a handoff? Perhaps the handoff is to their caregiver, parent, son, or even guardian. Well, it will be your responsibility to follow that protocol. The reason for this is because you may have a customer that has a cognitive disability, and if you do not follow protocol, your customer may wander off. This can be a dangerous and alarming situation, not only for your customer, but for everyone involved. For you, if this should happen, you will be held partially responsible because you did not adequately hand off your customer to their person. It is a matter of safety. Someone, either your customer or someone else, may get hurt. Okay, what if your customer appears to require additional assistance you are not comfortable providing? Then you must notify your dispatch immediately and then follow their instructions as to what to do next. As a driver, we ask you to please treat all your customers with dignity and respect. Respect their emotional and physical boundaries. Avoid asking personal questions. Again, thinking of your customer as though they are someone in your life who you love and adore that is elderly and frail. If you are able, please do provide additional service and or assistance to your customer, as long as it is reasonable and your customer requires it. Again, thinking of your customer as though they are someone in your life who you love and adore that is elderly and frail. If you are unable to safely, please provide assistance to your customers getting in and out of your vehicle, and or provide assistance with securing their personal belongings and packages in and out of your vehicle too. Okay, here are some don'ts. As a driver for MST RIDES program, do not go beyond your customer's doorway. As a customer service provider, a taxi cab driver, you may provide this service to your customers. However, for legal reasons and the safety of your customer, when you are driving on behalf of MST's RIDES program, you must not go past your customer's door. And do not lose sight of your vehicle, especially if there's another customer in it. Remember, MST RIDES program is a shared ride service, so you may have more than one RIDES customer in your vehicle. Again, thinking of your customer as though they are someone in your life who you love and adore that is elderly and frail. As a driver, I know many of you go above and beyond to provide assistance to your customers. However, as a driver for MST's RIDES program, you must not act as your customer's PCA, personal care attendant. That means you are not to lift your customer into or out of your vehicle. You are not to touch your customer's medical equipment without asking for permission first. Medical equipment can be tricky and complicated and very expensive. More than likely, it may be something your customer relies on in their everyday life. It would be detrimental if something should happen to their medical equipment, even if it was an accident. Therefore, always ask your customer's permission first before touching their medical equipment. Okay, as a driver, when you're picking up your RIDES customer, you will need to confirm the person you are picking up is the correct person scheduled on your manifest. Prior to COVID, all participants in MST RIDES program were issued this program identification card. As you can see, this card has their picture, name, program identification number, type of certification that can be either conditional or unconditional, and length of expiration date too. However, since COVID, many individuals who have become registered participants will not have this program identification card. Therefore, if your customer does not, you may accept proof of who they are in the form of a government-issued identification. It can be a driver's license, state identification card, passport, and the like. PCAs, personal care attendants, are individuals who provide support to their person by assisting with day-to-day tasks in their client's home or in a care facility. These tasks include and not limited to assisting with bathing, grooming, dressing, feeding, as well as taking clients to appointments. Please note, your customer is not required, nor is it appropriate for you to ask about their PCA or what type of support their PCA provides them. Additionally, PCAs traveling with their client ride for free. This is what MST's PCA identification card looks like. Please note, not all PCAs will have this form of identification. If your customer's PCA does not have one, and your customer has identified them as their PCA, please honor their admittance and allow them to ride for free. However, if your customer is traveling with a companion and identifies them as their companion, then yes, their companion must pay the same fare as your customer. Lastly, when picking up your MST RIDES customer, you will receive their fare in either cash and coin, RIDES program tickets, or a combination of cash, coin, and RIDES program tickets. This is an image of what the RIDES program tickets look like. They come in denominations of $1, $2.50, and 50 cents. Anyone interested in procuring RIDES program tickets may do so through MST's customer service department. And this concludes this portion of MST's RIDES ADA paratransit program of the MST TACT training.